What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the X-Transbots Ground Bite, or their version of a Masterpiece Scale Scrapper. So I got this from Ricky G. Thanks for sending it for review. He bought it from Toy Dojo. Thanks to Eddie for getting this shipped out. I know he got a partial shipment because of all the issues we're having right now with shipping and USPS and all the different issues. So he hasn't gotten all the shipments, so hopefully he gets those soon. But I do appreciate him sending this out for Ricky. But let's take a look at this guy. And we did look at the Big Load, their version of Long Haul. So this is the second in the series of Constructicons from X-Transbots. And that was a pretty good figure. I actually just had one little issue, which was the thumb. You know, I thought it rotated. It doesn't. This thumb has the exact same thing. So I'm going to be careful with it. But basically, you can't rotate it this way. It can only go up and down. But other than that, that was a pretty good figure. This one also is a very promising figure. It looks gorgeous. It's got beautiful black metallic paint on the head, gunmetal silver for the face, metallic red for the eyes, red paint, silver paint, gunmetal paint, metallic purple. It's not just a flat purple, it's a metallic. That looks good. The green looks like it's that paint infused plastic. It's hard to tell if there's a finish or not. Either way, it looks very good, whether it's paint infused or a finish. Black, white, and yellow here. Metallic silver for the thighs. Same green paint for the legs. Nice rubber tires with die cast for the wheels. There's a lot of die cast in this figure. This whole thigh, the legs are very heavy. This whole thigh is die cast. The wheels are die cast. There's internal hardware like these joints are die cast. There's a little bit of die cast here in the armatures. So there's quite a bit. Here's the back. During the unboxing, I had this slightly off. Somebody commented on it. It wasn't connected. So you want to just have this tabbed in right there. That kind of locks everything in. And he is super duper solid, especially considering, you know, prior X-Transbots figures. This thing feels like a rock. I mean, it's a brick. Feels very, very good. Let's go over the articulation on this guy. The head can rotate and go up all the way up to there. I don't think I've seen any Masterpiece Scrapper that could go that far, so that's nice. Down to there and rotate around. Shoulders can rotate around on a ratchet. Nice hardware in that ratchet. It feels very good. Butterfly joint. Again, was not expecting, and it's not only is a butterfly joint, it's a well-designed, really nicely working butterfly joint. And it tabs back in there. You have a ratchet out to the side, up to there. Rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow, so there's a joint on the lower arm there. And then there's a joint on the upper arm. So you combine the two, you can get the full, almost the full bend. There's a little cutout there, so you can get it higher up. If you engage the bottom one, you can get a little bit further. For the hands, you have a rotation at the wrist. You have in and out movement at the wrist. It does look like it's broken when you bend the wrist. It's not. It's just that's how the clip is designed. The fingers are individually articulated. The thumb can rotate forward or up and down. Don't try to rotate the thumb itself, but you can bend on 2 pins. And it's a little thin piece, so just be careful with that. The other fingers are on 2 pins, so the bottom 3 are connected. The pointer finger is separate. He can point. So if you want, he can lead since he is the leader of the Constructicons. So that's good. Continuing down, we have a rotation at the waist on a ratchet. Again, very nice feeling ratchet. It feels very solid. Very different than what I'm used to with X-Transbot. It just feels very high quality. Ab crunch, also very well done. It has a locking pin or tabs here and here. So when you bring it down, it clicks into place and locks there. And then as you open it, it's not just loose and floppy like some of their figures. It holds. It's got tension. So beautifully done ab crunch as well. Hip skirts. Front, back, and sides will move out of the way. Leg will kick up to there on a ratchet, and it holds the weight. Back to there on a ratchet, that holds the weight. out to the side on friction, but it holds the weight of all the die cast in here. So again, beautifully tolerant stuff here from X-Transbots. You have a double jointed knee. Look at this. You got a nice die cast piece here, little knee piece here, and that works beautifully. Beautifully. You have ankle tilt. It's actually not a tilt on the piece itself. It's on the toe and the heel. But you can combine the two to get a actual tilt. And then you have both directions. And then forward and backward, you can bend this. And one other hidden feature here is a little communicator built into his arm. You come to here, you can open up this panel. It's molded in detail. It'd been nice if there was a tampo or a sticker there, but he can kind of pretend like he's talking to Megatron or whatever. All right, let's take a look at the accessories. He does come with some nice stuff. We get the blaster done in this metallic black, same as the head, and then this gunmetal for the barrel. Really nice looking sculpt. This will fit in the hand, just like all other Masterpiece. You can tab it in. Tab works beautifully. Again, another unexpected thing from X-Transbots. Really good tolerance there. You also get a sword done in the silver and then that same gunmetal blackish color. And again, that will tab into the hand. And the tolerance is, once again, done perfectly because it holds without even closing the fingers. So there you go for those two. We also get his trumpet. Now this one, you get two because one of them is for Big Load, their version of Long Haul. And I don't have that here, so I'm just going to set that one aside. And this will fit into this hand, only the right hand, just because there's a tab on this side, not on the other side. So we'll take out this gun. And I had a little trouble getting this in, so I think what you need to do is get the tab into the hand. And it doesn't quite hold with that tab. So you're going to get the fingers on top and then get the thumb across the bottom. Almost like he's actually playing those buttons or whatever they're called, whatever instrument it is. But it does work pretty well. I just it's hard to get the exact angle, but it definitely works. All right, we also get some shoulder covers. So if you don't like the look of the wheels in the cartoon, he didn't have these tires. He had these little green pieces there. So these actually unpeg from here. They're on two little pegs. It comes off easy with this one, but when you put this one on, it's very hard to take off. So I'm just going to show you. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. There's a little stress mark right in the middle, and this one has it too, and same for the other side. They both have stress marks on them. So I think you probably don't want to do this too many times. When I went to take this off, it was very hard to take off. So I'm not going to put it all the way on. I just want to show you what it looks like. I'm going to leave a little gap because I don't want to make it, I don't want to stress it. It's not my figure. If it was my figure, I'd probably just do it, show it to you, but I don't want to break it since it's not mine. But there's the look. I think it looks great. So if you're planning to display him in robot mode, and obviously you're not going to transform it, you need the wheels for transformation, but this looks great. It's a great option. I just wish it came off a little bit easier. There was a better release mechanism or something. But because it's kind of tight, I'm hesitant to push them on there. But they do work. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. And he fits in nicely with the Masterpiece scale. And for another size comparison, there it is next to the Fans Toys version of Scrapper Gary. And you can see Gary's quite a bit bigger. And I'm going to bring in Megatron, since this is a size comparison after all. And my personal feeling is I think this size fits in better. I think the Fans Toys is a little bit too big, right? Because they shouldn't be bigger than the leader. They should be bigger than like a Carbot, but not bigger than the leader. And this is just the same height, whereas this is shorter. It just feels right at this size. Now, I'm going to do a full comparison with these two guys here, so I don't want to spend too much time comparing them. But as far as the overall height, I think the X-Transbots fits in better. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into vehicle mode. And there are a couple things to watch out for. There's a couple areas where there's thin plastic. I already have some stress marks. I told you about the wheels. I have some back here as well. And then this part where you've got the die cast going into plastic, I'd just be cautious of that. I'll point it out as we're going, but there are some parts where I do have concerns with the longevity of it. Now, in robot mode, it is pretty darn solid. And in vehicle mode, once you get there, it's pretty solid. It's just the transformation in between. Let's get started. We'll start with the arms. So lift this up. We're going to fold this to the inside. It unpegs from right here. Open up this panel. Rotate the hand to the inside. Make sure it's into like a fist format. Fold that in and then bring this back around and tab it in at the top. There's a tiny bit of plastic bending there, so it's not a big deal. It works. Right? Then we're going to take the arm, rotate it to the outside, and then collapse the elbows. Same on this side, rotate and collapse the elbows. And you should end up with this slot on the inside of the arms if you've done it correctly. All right, now we'll come to the back here and take care of this backpack. So there's quite a bit to do here. I just lift up the arms, get them out of the way. We're going to unpeg this tab from the back of the shovel. And then we're going to extend out on this. It actually already came out, but basically you're pulling down on this slider. You're also going to pull out on this slider. This is very thin. So, use caution when you're pulling this out. It just feels like, I don't know how many cycles it's going to survive. And pull it until it locks in place. You'll hear it click. Then you're going to rotate this around, hold this, and then rotate the roof panel around. And just sit that down for now because we had to take care of this shovel. So we're going to come to here. You're going to open up the butterfly joints on the shoulders because those are holding in the shovel. So open that up. Open up this, and if you have trouble reaching it, just grab a spudger. There's one, and then on the other side as well. And we don't put those back until we get back to robot mode, so leave those open. You don't want to lock this shovel, but once you have that out and the arms out, that'll allow you to pull this whole shovel part out. All right, so we can straighten this up a little bit. This is going to come around. We're going to open up this section here, pull these die-cast armatures down. And again, this is another place I was talking about where you're putting die-cast into plastic. So just be careful with all that. You're going to fold down the shovel and it's going to tab in to the top right here. So get that tab down on both sides. It's a soft tab, but it does go. And then up here on the top of the shovel, get this straightened out until these armatures reach the front of this. And you want to make sure that these stay plugged in, but you've extended this enough to get these armatures plugged in. All right, there we go. So now go ahead and plug these tabs in. And I did mention those are die cast going into plastic, so just be cautious with it. On this side, we're going to take the head and unpeg it from here. You can push back on this panel. Don't push on the head because the head can come off. Push on the panel. Then we're going to rotate the head. You got to kind of turn it sideways to get it past this area. So rotate the head to get past there. And then rotate it so you have the back of the head facing there. Bring this down. There you go. So it should tab in there on the top. And now bring these arms back in, tab them back in, and just let them sit outwards like this. You can bring the shovel down on this hinge, and we can open up this to bring it down like that. So just have the shovel sit on the front and these wheels sit open. You're going to leave this ab crunch open for now, and we're going to take this and come push this forward. You're going to open up this little area here, which reveals a little steering wheel. And then you'll close this down. The top of this panel will tab into that piece on the steering wheel. So make sure that it lines up, and then close that up. Open up this seat. Open up these little gear levers, which I thought was really cool. This all feels robust, by the way. These don't feel like they're going to break, but just watch out for those. Try not to collide with those. All right, so now we'll take care of the legs, and the legs are relatively easy, but there's a part to watch out for. So close down the foot, close down the heel, and thank you to X-Transbots for putting a little thing for you to pull it back out when you're going the other direction. You can pull out this heel much easier with that little clip. You're going to fold this out. You're going to unpeg this whole section from here. So you just push up on this, and you can see there's a slot here and here that's tabbing into here and here. So when you go back, you have to tab those in, make sure those make it way in. Fold this to the side. Open up this little panel right here. Come to the top, open up this panel right here. Then we're going to fold this panel out, push with your thumb. Come to this side, flip that panel around, and then close that back up, and that makes his little top part there. All right, before we fold this leg, we're going to fold the foot in. Then we're going to fold at this lower knee, not the upper knee. So rotate this around, making sure this stays clear. And bring this all around. You're going to open up this panel right here before you get to there. There is a tab on the bottom that's supposed to go into the rear hip skirt. We can do that later. So for now, just get it down to there. Come to this side. This, we're going to open up this panel. And this is the one I had an issue with on this side. It's kind of stress marks right now. So open that up. Come to this side. You can open that up. Bring this down. There's a slot. Tab right there. So bring this over and get that tabbed in right here on the side. And then take this, peg that into the back. It just clips right in there. And then here, open this up, bring this down. Don't get it pegged in right now. Just leave that panel right there for now. So go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do this one off camera, and then we'll be right back. All right, and there are both legs transformed, and sadly, this panel, the part that I was telling you that was stressed, it did break. So I just want to show you what it looks like. It's a teeny tiny thin little piece of plastic that this is attached to. So it's attached right here. And the fortunate thing is this still transforms even with that detached. So let's get this pegged in on the side, and then we'll keep going. Get that pegged in, and then bring this together. Make sure these two panels are folded up, and then tab the two halves together. Give it a nice squeeze. And then I'm just going to get this inserted here, because it does actually attach, and even in robot mode, it still works, because this sits on the inside of the leg, so it's not going to cause an issue. But it is definitely a bummer that it broke. And I don't know how much of it is user error. Honestly, this is only the second transformation of this thing. So the fact that it broke after one transformation feels, a little too quick. But all right, go ahead and take this. And there's a peg right here. It's going to go into a slot right there on the side of the arm. And then there's a slot right here that's going into the bottom here. And I forgot to mention, you do want to open up these two panels. These hip skirts become panels for the front here. So make sure those are open all the way. And this is another thing. This smokestack loves to pop off. But it's keyed and it fits in there. It's easy to pop it off. All right, so now we'll get this pegged in down here first, and then come to the bottom and get this tab into the arm. And same on this one, bring this over, get that tabbed in, and then get the bottom part in. And you can see this is actually on an angle, so you're not closing the ab crunch. See how the ab crunch is still engaged? You need that ab crunch open because this sits at an angle. I mean, this is straight, but this ab crunch sits at an angle. So just keep that in mind. You don't want it straight. All right, going to take these wheels, rotate them down. They have a stopping point right here. So it does, kind of hold it, which is good. So both wheels. Come to the bottom here and open up these panels if you didn't already. Here. And then these two, we're going to take the gun. And the gun has a collapsing part here. The front of the gun just collapses into the gun like this. And then this will fit right in between here. So get this pegged in on both sides. Like that. And then bring this panel down. These two are going to fit around the bottom hip skirt here. And they kind of hold the gun right there between the legs. And then last step here, we're going to open up this front of the chest. And that just gives enough clearance for it to fit. And then on the top, take this canopy, bring this back. There's two little clips here on each side. This is another thin piece of plastic, so I do recommend caution, but clip that in. That's going to lock right in there. All right, there's ground bite in vehicle mode. And it is a beautiful looking vehicle. I mean, they really have lots of nice detail. These little smokestacks and details here. Taillights, although I would be careful with these just because you might knock them into them or whatever. On the front, you got headlights, silver. Nice little seat with the controls there. Two levers on each, one on each side. Steering wheel. I mean, it's very detailed for a Constructicon. I was really surprised. It rolls pretty nicely, although the front wheels kind of are wonky just because they're loose. I did look and see if there was a way to tighten the screw. There doesn't really appear to be. That's already tight, so it's this that's causing the wobble. This is, not quite tight. It works. It just is a little bit wobbly, so you have to just be aware of that. But yeah, it does roll. You can lift up the shovel on a ratcheted joint. I love that it's ratcheted. And then this can open up. And there is a piston here, but you can't really... I'm worried about using it because this is die cast, this is plastic. So I'm not sure if you really want to put stress on this joint right here. It is, I mean, there's die cast armatures here and here, but then this is plastic, but then underneath is die cast. So it's a mixture of die cast and plastics, and that's why I get a little bit worried about that. All right, and before we go into combine mode, I did want to show you can bring the combiner parts in. Here's the thigh and the knee. And there's two little slots here that'll fit over this part, which is actually where it goes in combine mode too. And then this will clip in on the bottom. You don't have to push it all the way, just push it in lightly, and that'll hold on there. And then you can bring the wing in, which it's actually looks like it's painted beautifully. Can't tell if it's the paint infused plastic because even on the inside surface it looks painted. So I believe it is that paint infused plastic, but you'll see a little notch right here on both sides that'll fit over these little divots on the side. So just get this pegged on top and that'll just sit flat on there. And there you go, there's combiner part storage for the vehicle mode. It is a thing that they did back in the toy version of this guy, so it's kind of cool that they worked that in. I didn't necessarily need it myself, but I do think it's neat that they worked that in. For a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. Nice big truck here, fits in well with the Masterpiece scale. And for another quick size comparison, there it is next to the Fans Toys version of Scrapper. And this guy is bigger, it's taller and longer, especially when you count the shovel. But I do think this vehicle looks way better. It's just more realistic. Overall, it looks less kibbly. They did a really nice job on this vehicle mode. All right, now let's get it transformed into combine mode. And relatively straightforward and simple. So we're going to unpeg the arms from here and from the side. We're going to unpeg the arm from the butterfly joint. There's a slider right here, so slide it down and then peg it back in over here. So there's another place to peg it in right there. Right? And that one is not as secure, to be honest. It's a little bit looser than I'd like. Go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Unpeg it from here. Unpeg it from there. Unpeg it from the shoulder. Slide it down and then peg it back in. Bring this up. And before we fold that up, we're going to actually take this tiny little tab right here. Fold that out on both sides, and that'll help to hold this in. So you're going to fold this down. It's going to combine with this, and those little tabs lock it in. They're not the most secure, but that's how it works. And then get these kind of situated. We're going to rotate this around. We're going to pull this up, so unpeg it from here and here. Again, be careful with this thin plastic here. Bring this down here and then slide it down. And that's just going to sit right there. And then what you're going to do is detach or pull out on this. So you have that extended. And we can close this down on the front. And just make sure you have the arms straight. So here's how we're looking. On the actual shovel, fold out these pieces here to make the shovel a bit bigger, and you're also going to fold out this piece here. You might need a spudger or something to get in it, but basically you're going to fold this top part. And I actually already folded these down, but these were plugged in here, the little armatures. Those are going to fold down and plug in there. So just hide those away. And then last step here, oh, and don't forget to fold these arms forward like that. All right, and the last step here is to get the combiner part on the top. So here's what that looks like. So there's two circular pegs. They're going to peg into here. And then these little gaps will fit around the rear tail lights. So get that all around. And then this will come back and click in right there. Clip in. On one little finishing touch, you can close the seat down to kind of hide that. And you can close the little control panels or control knobs down as well. All right, and there is ground bite in combined mode. I do think it looks nice. However, I'm not sure about the stability. This part locks in pretty well, but these arms are kind of, they don't lock in. They're on a ratchet, but I'm just imagining when all the full weight is on. Also, by the way, this leans back a little bit just because the weight is up high. There's a lot of die cast up here, remember, so it leans back. So I think having the weight of the combiner on these ratchet joints in the arms, probably not the best idea. And then the other thing is this, that is ratcheted, but it's very loose. And then this forward and backward is not, I mean, it's ratcheted, but it's so loose. It's like there's no resistance forward and backward, and there's no resistance side to side. So I feel like that ankle is going to definitely be a problem, which is why I believe they've included this. So this is a stand for the combined mode meant to improve stability. I actually think you probably are going to have to use this. It does come with these stickers to make it look more like, shattered ground or whatever. And I'm just going to do one, and then I'll do the rest off camera. But there are punched holes in here. So you're going to put those right over the holes. You just line it up. And I did ask Ricky before I did this if he wanted these stickers. And then just push it down, and then you have that piece. So I'll go ahead and do the rest of these so you can see what the finished product looks like. But I just want to show you, it does come with these stickers. I do think it looks better with the stickers, so I'll put those on. All right, so there it is, all stickered up. It does look nice, I have to say. I like the overall detail on this. And you can reconfigure them, so if you want to take them apart, they're on these little pieces, these ridges. So I guess if we get the second one, you can connect them together. Maybe that can hold together. I don't know. We'll see. But if you come to the bottom here, you have 2 peg holes on the arms, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 on the shovel. So you can center this right here on this little panel. And I guess you could do it like this. So line them up, and it helps to look where's the hole on the arms, and then get this figured in, and that really improves the stability. So I think that's almost kind of a necessity, and that still has some weight leaning back. So maybe you'd put the panel the other way, where you have more of it on the back than on the front. But either way, you can use this to definitely improve stability. So I think this was included because it's needed, not because it's a bonus, but I think they're gonna need this due to the weight. Just the sheer weight of this guy alone kind of tells me that. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime and the X-Transbots version of Hauler. And it's a very big leg mode. And for quick size comparison, there it is next to the Toy World Constructor, their version of Devastator. And you can see this is even bigger than Toy World. It doesn't have the hip joint yet, so, and it's already taller, comes up a little bit higher than the Toy World. So this is going to be a big combiner. So final recommendations on the X-Transbots Ground Bite. And this is the second time I'm recording this final recommendation, but I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I'm going to recommend it. This really is one of the best, maybe the best scrapper I've ever looked at. However, I do have some issues. Namely, I had this panel which snapped off. Now, it doesn't really cause any problem. In robot mode, you can see, you can't even tell. I could just snap it right on there. Same for vehicle mode and same for combined mode. It doesn't affect anything. But the fact that it broke, I knew it was going to break because I took a picture of it. I'll post it here if I remember to do that. It had a stress mark on it. After the very first transformation, it had a stress mark. And I told Ricky, this might break. So I'm just letting you know. And he wasn't worried about it, but it did indeed break on the very second transformation. So just be careful with that. I also have some paint scrapes. So there's one right here, just simply from bending the knee. Tiny little scrape there. And then this armature, which is die cast, painted die cast, has scrapes on it on the inside. And there's no way to avoid it. You have to fold this out for the transformation. So little things like that held this back from being a 5 out of 5 figure, which in my mind, the best scrapper ever made. I just wish I could get an X-Transbots figure and not have one of these issues. I promise you, I'm not doing this on purpose. I don't want it to break. I don't want it to have issues. But like I said, if you're getting this for robot mode and you're not planning to transform it, or you're planning to transform it very few times, I think you'll be very, very happy with this. The vehicle mode also absolutely gorgeous. Love the accessories. Love the integration. Even the combined mode looks good. I can't talk to the performance of it because we need to see the fully combined mode. As far as looks though, I think it looks great. I do like the inclusion of the little stabilization panel, which is going to help, overall with the combined mode. I just can't tell right now, that ankle especially, is that going to be secure? But other than that, I think people will be really happy with this as an individual robot. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Ricky G for sending this, and we'll see you next time.